just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Great again. Great again.
Hey guys, and welcome to the American Tribune Live. I am Todd Peterson, kicking it off a little early today. We're going to see if we can get ahead of the algorithm as everyone else jumps in at 9:30. But we have to talk Trump winning. There's only two things to really talk about at this point. We're 5 weeks in. It's all been amazing. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Don't be like, gosh, I wish Trump would have done this or that. No, Donald Trump has been incredible. He has done more than we ever could have hoped for. And it's only been 5 weeks, folks. We have 4 years of winning, of getting this country back on track. Donald Trump has done it all. He has exceeded expectations. I am taking the W right now. I am celebrating that. The other thing we have to talk about, we did this on Tuesday. I dedicated an entire hour and a half to talking about how Dems have to celebrate, they have to promote, they have to oppose all the goodness of Donald Trump. Therefore, they have to promote evil. They have to promote immorality. They are taking the wrong side of everything. I got a little bit of that today, but we were talking about Trump's winning today. I was out of the country last week, a little R&R, a little vacation, so I missed it when the poll came out here, but I had to cover this because this was an incredible number. We're going to dive right into it, folks, and I want to thank you if you're watching over on Rumble. You're at the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson right now. That is our separate channel. I do a regular podcast. I upload videos every day on a second Rumble channel, the American Tribune. I'm going to upload this podcast to that channel later today, so if you are watching the rerun of the show, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We got a big following over on our main channel, the American Tribune. If you're watching this later broadcast, though, head on over to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. Give us a follow. Give us a like. We're trying to build that community as well. Trying to keep this podcast separate from all the other commentary that we do. If you're on YouTube, we just got our first YouTube viewer. Thanks for watching over on YouTube. YouTube hates us. We stream on YouTube every time. I think I set a record last show on Tuesday with 2 viewers, 2 concurrent viewers. They suppress the heck out of us. One of these days, we'll have to get into the Facebook, YouTube, Google suppression of conservative accounts and things that have changed in my own company and the own business that we run, the American Tribune, ever since Trump took office, ever since obviously X opened up with Elon Musk. But then when Zuckerberg opened Facebook up to conservatives, donated to the Trump inauguration fund, things have changed over in Facebook for the good right now. We are tiptoeing still on Facebook. You never know when that spigot's going to get shut off. But big tech is changing, not YouTube. Google hates us every day. Every single day, YouTube is taking down content. I picked a song for my opening on this podcast from YouTube so they wouldn't strike me with copyrights, and they still take down every video I can't monetize on YouTube. They said, you played a song that's not allowed. And I told them, I got this song from your library. They don't care. They don't want people to hear what I have to say, what other conservatives have to say. So welcome aboard. Long way to say thank you for joining us on the American Tribune Live or the American Tribune on Rumble. If you're listening on Spotify, thanks for listening to Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere at this point. You can listen whatever works best for you, video, audio, you name it. But I'm always trying to redirect people back to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. That's the podcast community we're trying to get and support Rumble. I've been talking about this. I've been supporting Rumble, or trying to, by using their Rumble studio. It is clunky at best right now. I don't think I get as nearly the same reach as I would over on our other third-party stuff. But I like Rumble. They've been good to us. We want to support what they're doing. Obviously, it's an alternative to YouTube. So we are doing that today. But we got to dive into it, folks. We have so much to talk about here. Let's get to the headline as well. Trump approval hit 70%. And I had to highlight in the headline, this was from a CBS poll. This wasn't like an American Tribune poll where all of you would be like 100%. Trump is doing an incredible job. You will never reach 30%, 40% of the country, no matter how much you try, no matter how much you dispel of the brainwashing and the propaganda and the myths and the lies and the gaslighting that they do to you every single day. It'll never happen. So when I see polls like this, I joke, it's kind of a sad joke. I say, who are these 30%? All right, 70% of Americans are like, yes, Trump is fulfilling his campaign promises. Yes, Donald Trump is getting the country on the right track. And you got 30% of people over here being like, no, this isn't working. And you're like, who are you? Who are these people? How do you wake up every day, look around, and you say, yes, the border situation is getting resolved. 90% of crossings down in a month. Are you kidding? Just tells you that they could have done this all along. We always said this. Joe Biden intentionally let that border remain open, whether it was kickback to the cartels, whether the cartels controlled the border under Biden, whether all the other drugs and human trafficking that took place made its way to DC as well. We will never know for sure. But make no mistake, they could have done the exact same thing for 4 years, and they never did. I always say this too. Joe Biden didn't hate half this country. Joe Biden hated the entire country. Every single American was affected by the drugs, the trafficking, the crime, the welfare payouts. We were all impacted negatively by Biden's policies. He didn't hate half this country. He hated the entire country. But Donald Trump securing the border, that is a win. You look at the poll, you're like 70% of Americans look at this border situation. I can't share my screen today, folks. Rumble Studio, again, some of the kinks they got to work out here. It won't let me share a screen and maintain my audio. So I just got to scroll down. I apologize. I got to look down at my computer screen. As we get to, we'll just talk about the border first here. Again, this is a strong number. 59 approve, 41 disapprove on the CBS poll, Trump's administration's program to deport immigrants illegally in U.S. 59 is great. Again, you're wondering, how are 41% of Americans opposed to deporting violent illegal criminals, gang members, drug dealers, violent and murderous? I don't even know what I can say over on YouTube before they strike my channel for no reason. And again, sending U.S. troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, CBS Stats has responded. 64% approve, 36 disapprove. That is just as good as it's going to get. If you can't get excited about decreasing the number of border crossings, enforcing the border, militarizing the border, sending dudes home that don't belong here, and especially dudes that would do you harm, there are people out there that say, send them all back. You're here illegally, send them all back. I am in that camp, but I'm also realistic, and I say it is a tall order to ship out, 40, 50 million illegals at this point, whatever the number is. Nobody knows, nobody cares to know. Yes, that would be amazing, but it's not going to happen. Why don't we focus on all the violent ones, all the ones that engage in criminal activity, drug dealing, human trafficking, arson, assault, robbery, you name it. Those guys can go first. And here's another fun fact. Joe Biden knew where they were the entire time too. How is it that Donald Trump can go knock on a door in Aurora, Colorado, or go down to Chicago and say, hey, buddy, you're going on this plane to Guantanamo. Have fun in your detention center in Costa Rica next. They knew where they were the entire time, and they did nothing about it. Donald Trump gets into office in the first week. We're knocking on all the right doors. We always knew where they were. We knew what they were doing. Joe Biden didn't care. Joe Biden hated the entire country. Just remember that. He didn't hate half this country. He didn't hate MAGA. He did, but he hated everybody else too, whether you voted for him or not. So we knew where they all were the entire time. I want to hit the chat here. I got a YouTube comment. More Caden, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening here. I'm seeing the 30% on Facebook. These are the dead enders that Donald Rumsfeld warned us about in 2003. Folks, I'm beaming over here. If you're listening on the audio version, if you're on Spotify or Apple, I feel like I'm lifting out of my chair. I have a viewer on YouTube and a viewer that commented on YouTube. You are Caden. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comment here. Yes, the 30% are definitely on Facebook. They're on Reddit. They are your uncle-in-law or your sister-in-law if you're in my family. These people, and I have clips today from Chuck Schumer, MSNBC. I got Elon Musk talking about this. Yes, there will always be 30%. It doesn't matter what kind of deprogramming we offer them. They just hate Trump. They hate Elon Musk. They love government corruption. Here's the thing, folks. When we talk about getting mad at Donald Trump, what they are saying is, so here's Donald Trump. I'm going to shut down the border. I'm going to get this government corruption under control. I'm going to end the wars overseas. How many hundreds of billions of dollars have we sent to Ukraine, and we have nothing to show for it except dead bodies and bloat and waste in the federal bureaucracy? For 3 years, I have no idea what's been going on in Ukraine. I see snippets on X. I know what Don Lemon would say, but nobody has any idea what's going on in Ukraine. But sure, keep sending money over there. Wear a little lapel if you're a congressman. But Donald Trump said, I'm going to end all of this. I'm going to focus on you, the American citizen. And if you're a Democrat, if you're in this 30%, as Morcaden points out, Rummy, I can't believe we're giving Rumsfeld credit for anything, that warmonger, that murderous war criminal. These people opposed to Donald Trump are literally telling you, I want wide open borders. I want as much fentanyl as possible to come across the border. I want as many children and young girls as possible to be trafficked, assaulted, sold. I want all of that. I don't want to close the border. That's mean. That's racist. I want all of these girls and women to be trafficked into God knows what kind of situation because I'm a nice person and I'm not a racist. I want endless wars overseas. I want to work for 4 months out of the year, have a gun to my head, have money stolen from me by the federal government, and have that money shipped out to Zelensky so he can buy 15 homes, kill hundreds of thousands of his own citizens for no other reason that the longer this war goes on, the more money he makes. I want to have boys and men get naked in front of girls in locker rooms. I want them to pee standing up next to a young girl in a bathroom. I want men to steal spots from girls on a sports team. I want to indulge all the fetishes of these sick individuals because I'm a nice person and I support the transgender movement. You literally have to advocate and defend and promote evil if you are opposed to Donald Trump right now. That is the 30%. Folks, if you fall in the 30% camp, and I'm trying to get my family members to watch the show, I would like to change their minds. I'm a little fired up today. I promise I'm nice when I talk in person. I don't get this way when the camera is off. Who can help it? You got a camera on, you got a light on your face, and the floor is yours. So I get to say what I want on the program. I'm very nice in person, and all I do is ask them questions. I'm like, so wait a second. You're opposed to what Donald Trump is doing. Help me understand your position. Are you telling me you want a wide open border? Are you telling me you want to send more money to Ukraine, get more people killed? I mean, the hundreds of billions of dollars. You think that made it to actual military infrastructure that's getting used to fight a war? Like, are you kidding? You want government corruption and fraud and waste and the grift and the laundering to continue unmitigated? Are you telling me that? You're mad at Donald Trump and Elon Musk for uncovering, exposing, reporting on, and slashing government corruption. You're mad at them for doing that. You're not mad that that exists. Like, this is where these people are at. These 30% are lost, wayward souls. They are defective human beings. They are intellectually broken. They are morally broken. And I don't know. I often say brainwashing and propaganda can't explain this enough. At some point, you're just low IQ. Like, you can be as brainwashed as all hell, brainwash your entire life, but at some point, how do you not wake up and say, this one thing doesn't make sense? Gosh, I lived through the COVID pandemic. I remember when they told me if I got the vaccine, the virus would stop there. Excuse me, folks. I got back from vacation and got a flu right away, I'm pretty sure. So, a flu. COVID? Could be COVID. I do have a story about my vacation as well. I'll get to that at the end of the show. So, you're telling me you lived through COVID, and that's fine. Nothing to see here. You lied to me every day. Provable lies. You made up 6 feet. You made up masking efficacy. And then you just moved on. Nothing to see here. And then we lived through everything Joe Biden did. We lived through all the media Trump hoaxes. We're all old enough to remember when you said Donald Trump colluded with Putin to steal the 2016 election. We're all old enough when you said it's okay to talk about stolen elections, and then 4 years later, you would be booted off all social media, kicked out of your job, sent to your home to be alone if you said, I question the veracity of the 2020 election results. And then we have every other Trump hoax that got promulgated. Joe Biden launched his 2020 campaign in 2019 on the Charlottesville hoax. They said that Donald Trump wanted to murder Liz Cheney. They said there would be a bloodbath in the streets if he lost the election. They lied to you about everything. And at some point, how do you not just look at one snippet, just one, and say, well, that was false? And then you'd have to ask yourself, they lied about that one thing. What else are they lying about? And these people never put the pieces together. I'm sorry, folks, we got to mute again here. I am sick. I had to do this show. There's too much to talk about. But at some point, yeah, these 30%, like I said, they're just broken human beings. They're not really human beings at this point. How can you be a functioning, sentient, free will human being if you just believe every single thing the regime programs you to think and feel? But we got to get to this. Elon Musk. Elon Musk has joined Donald Trump's team. And let's get to the poll actually first here. There was, if I keep scrolling down, and again, I wish you could see the screen here, but I can't talk on Rumble and share my screen at the same time. Love Rumble Studio, trying to give them a little outlet here, trying to boost our own show over on Rumble, but not ideal. I'm scrolling. So then the poll gets to Elon Musk, and then I got a video clip of Elon Musk as well. Elon Musk and Doge, the question says, influence over government operations and spending should be, 23% said a lot. Again, the answer should be 100%, but it's not. 28% said some. And then you get down to the bottom half of the poll. 18% said he shouldn't have a lot of, interaction, or he shouldn't have a large role in the Trump admin. And 31% said absolutely not, zero role in the government. And then if you break that down, 49% of Democrats polled said he should have zero influence over government operations. And my one question for Dems is why? Why? And don't tell me because Orange Man bad and Elon Musk. Like, that's literally their response. Well, Elon Musk is a billionaire and he bought influence over Trump. That's what they will tell you. And you say that's not enough. Because I remember 3 months ago, when you trotted out Reid Hoffman, Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Mark Cuban. I seem to recall the name George Soros floating around for the last 2 decades in American politics. At no time, oh, we got J.B. Pritzker. I did some comments. Go over to the American Tribune. I think I got a J.B. Pritzker video up today. At no time, ever, did they ever express or voice concern over influence of billionaires. In fact, Democrats love billionaire influence. I wish I had the stat here. I think in 2016, like 90% of Wall Street donations went to Hillary Clinton. This is the party of the elites, the wealthy. They love billionaires. They have a problem with this one billionaire. That's it. That is it. They have a problem with Elon Musk because he is opposed to the establishment and the deep state and the regime and the administration's agenda and the media propaganda and lies. That is it. They do not care about the influence of a billionaire. Call them on that. And again, the rule is never play defense with these lying clowns, these corrupt fools. They need to defend their position. All right, let's accept your premise. Billionaire influence in politics is bad. You tell me why you didn't speak up when it was Beyonce, Oprah, Pritzker, Reid Hoffman, Mark Cuban, Taylor Swift. Why you never said a peep when it was any of these people. Why is it that you single out Elon Musk? And if you're going to tell me because he's a billionaire, that's not going to fly. So make them play defense. You have to explain nothing of what's going on here. So the polls say Elon Musk shouldn't have any influence. And again, I'm asking myself, why? In a perfect world, should we have billionaires influence stuff? Well, I don't know. What's the alternative? Corporations? A huge confluence of the American people? That's what the America First movement is. How many tens of millions of Americans voted for Donald Trump? What, 52% of the country voted for Donald Trump? We all put our voice out there, and we all agreed we want Donald Trump. And guess what? We knew Elon Musk was part of the Trump administration. This is not a surprise. We're not like, oh, where'd this guy come from? He campaigned in Pennsylvania for like the last month of the election cycle. He put all of his money in the Trump campaign. He opened up X and saved the election. I stand by that. Without a free X platform, Trump loses the election. There are lots of things that could have happened. I mean, if he doesn't get a bullet in his ear because the regime tried to kill him, I don't know, maybe that sways a few voters as well. But Elon Musk buying Twitter absolutely saved the election. We knew what was going to happen. Donald Trump said, I'm going to have Elon Musk come on board and do Doge because he bought Twitter, cut the work staff by like 80%, and then you wouldn't know a thing. If you just casually use social media platforms, X and Twitter, and you didn't see the headlines, you didn't know X was bought by Elon Musk, you didn't know, other than the name change, you wouldn't have noticed that 80% of the people went missing. Donald Trump wanted to do that to the government. As a voter, I wanted Trump to do that to the government too. I wanted Elon Musk there. What is wrong with this picture? How are you mad over Elon Musk just being a billionaire? That doesn't fly. And no, we're not surprised that Elon Musk has a role in the government. We voted for Trump to give Elon Musk a role in the government. And it doesn't make sense. And then you only ever vote for a president anyways. Like, Democrat logic at this point is so far away from what we all know logic is. Okay, so you elect a president. By that definition, then anybody else in any administration was unelected. And yes, we have a big problem with unelected bureaucracy. But presidents can appoint people, like them or not. There are plenty of people Biden appointed that I would rather see in Leavenworth or Guantanamo, but they were there in the administration still. I didn't vote for them. But people, kind of voted for Joe Biden. They stole the election, but whatever. They said that Joe Biden won the election. People voted for him to like the tune of 80 million. And then somehow they just all evaporated when Kamala Harris was running in the most consequential election of our lifetimes. But sure, we'll go with that. So it doesn't make any sense. Let them just sit there and try to explain themselves and just poke holes in their logic. You don't have to play defense anymore. But here's the real issue. It's because they're over the target. They wouldn't be hyperventilating, shrieking. They wouldn't be Liz Warren in there saying, how dare Elon Musk expose government corruption? They're just defending the corruption. Again, that's all you're doing. If you're opposed to what's happening, you're just defending the corruption. I want more corruption. I want you to take more of my tax dollars and give it overseas. But here's Elon Musk. Nails it perfectly. He's too close to the target, and that's why they're outraged.
Give it fly and rip, number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. If like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. But what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president, and what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet.
All right, that goes on a little bit longer, but did you hear the final part right there? Everything Musk said is 100% true, not debatable, but 100% accurate. He said Donald Trump is fulfilling the mandate of the American people. He is enacting the will of the American people. We voted for Donald Trump because he said he would do this, and he's doing it. This is a great thing. And when you talk about unelected, okay, they're going to scream all day long, no one elected Elon Musk. Yeah, no one elected all the hundreds of thousands of, what are there, 2 million bureaucrats in DC, paper pushers, pencil pushers, people that are more concerned about defending their own little cubicle or organization or bureaucracy. They don't care about what happens to the American people. I get to leech off your tax dollars. I need to justify my existence or this organization's existence ahead of helping you. Who cares about you, the American person? Thanks for your tax dollars, by the way. Those people are unelected. 2 million unelected bureaucrats in DC. If they all disappeared tomorrow, we would be a freer, more prosperous nation. Your tax dollars, as soon as they get to DC, are a net negative on society. The people getting your tax dollars as a paycheck contribute nothing. They drain resources from the economy. They offer nothing back out to it. So yes, the next time someone says no one elected Elon Musk, you tell them no one elected 2 million bureaucrats in DC that justify their own job every single day at the expense of you, the American citizen and taxpayer. Folks, I'm fired up. I've said this often. I can always understand where the left is coming from because at the end of the day, it's just a power grab. So yes, at a fundamental level, I understand why they're doing this. They're freaking out that the gravy train is running out. The tracks are done. And they just want to maintain power. This is what they do. This is the playbook. I get that. I, for the life of me, cannot put my own... I can't understand how a normal Democrat voter is looking at this situation and siding with the Democrats and the media. How are you not upset at the corruption that has taken place? How are you mad at Donald Trump and Elon Musk? I will never understand this. But here's Chuck Schumer. We had to get to a Chuck Schumer clip. Here's why he's outraged. We got to cut waste, but Trump's doing it the wrong way. So let's take a listen to Schumer here because he has to thread the needle. The poll numbers are out. 70% of Americans are like, yes, Trump is fulfilling his campaign promises. 2/3 of the nation like where we're headed. So Chuck Schumer, he's got to tiptoe. He's not going to change his mind. He hates what's happening, but he has to message. It's always about messaging. It's not about their policies or their platforms or anything they would actually do to material benefit the American people, but he has to message differently. So this is him threading the needle here, and it's brutal, and we'll talk about it.
Is it the belief of the caucus that there is wasteful spending in government that needs to be cut? Do you agree with Doge in that sense?
Of course there's some wasteful spending, but you don't use a meat axe and cut everything. We need to look at each program. We need to go through Congress and see what's wasteful and move to eliminate it, and what's very not wasteful but very much needed. I'll give you one example. They went after community health centers in Medicaid. They're among the most efficient producers of health care we have, yet they tried to eliminate them. It makes no sense. They're just using a meat axe and cutting everything.
All right, Dems lie every day. If lying were illegal, there'd be no such thing as a Democrat. Chuck Schumer is trying to tell you that, yeah, there is waste in the government and we should go about, getting rid of it in the right way. How long has Chuck Schumer been in the Senate? This is all you need to ask yourself. How long has Chuck Schumer been in the Senate? How many times have you heard Chuck Schumer rail against government fraud, waste, and corruption? I'm going to save you a lot of time. The answer is never. 0 times. Chuck Schumer does not care. He's going to say that to these brainwashed normie NPC Dem voters out there. Oh, yeah, look at the Democrats are concerned, but Donald Trump's just doing it the wrong way. No, this is their line messaging. That's it. This is how they're messaging their disapproval of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, their fear and anxiety of what they're going to have uncovered. Chuck Schumer does not care about government waste. We just got out of a Biden administration that was spending $6, $7, $8 trillion a year, trillions more than they were taking in. They just printed money left and right. And with a certainty, almost all of that money didn't go to where it was supposed to. You're just skimming off the top every way it gets down the chain. If he had any concern about government waste, fraud, grifting, corruption, laundering, embezzlement, they would have said something in the last 4 years. They didn't. They don't care. They are simply terrified. But what a lying asshole. Do you know someone that's going to listen to this clip and believe him? Like, yeah, Chuck Schumer's right. We should take a scalpel instead of a meat axe, as he calls it. No, I want a cleaver. I am siding with Kevin O'Leary here. I got to play some video clips because I'm losing my voice. I am taking the side of Kevin O'Leary. Here's Chuck Schumer saying, why don't we just redline like $10,000 earmarked for transing kids in Baghdad with another woke episode of Sesame Street? Maybe we'll just cut like the last 5 minutes of the show. Still make it. Let's still spend $20 million on it, but maybe just take out like the last 30 seconds so we'll save $10,000. Like that's Schumer's approach. But here's Kevin O'Leary. Doge could take a meat axe, they could take a wood chipper, they could take a chainsaw, they could take a wrecking ball, As far as I'm concerned, Doge can't go far enough. Take a listen to O'Leary as he talks about this.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find, like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be happy.
More cutting, can't cut enough, trim it all, get rid of all the fat, 100% true here. So there's Schumer. Just contrast these ideologies for a second, these talking points. Oh, slow down, let's just scalpel out a little bit of fraud and corruption. And there's O'Leary saying, you need to take every chainsaw in the United States and just cut here. That is the only answer. And like he said, there is a time limit to this. Donald Trump, in a sane country, Donald Trump would retain, obviously, the Senate and the House. Who's voting for Democrat in the midterms? After 2 years of successfully leading the country down the right path, a more prosperous path, a safer path, I can't think of one thing Donald Trump could really do politics-wise and upset people. Let's see, a safer border? Great. Ending foreign wars? Great. Protecting men and women from each other in this trans insanity? Great. Like, there's nothing he can really do that would be opposed by the majority of the country. I just don't see that happening. And as he goes on about Doge here, I got a great clip coming up here right after this little speech. As he gives money back to the American people, as they get more money in their pockets from Doge savings, from tax savings, you think people are going to be opposed to the America First agenda? But again, 30% of the people polled by CBS said, this isn't working out for me. I wish we would have had Kamala Harris. So you never know. 48% of the country voted for Kamala Harris, if you believe those numbers. Oh, hey, we got to celebrate YouTube. We got up to 7 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Maybe it's something I said, or probably not. But here is Donald Trump talking about the Doge dividend. Folks, this is how we just keep winning and winning. Not only is Donald Trump saying fraud, corruption, waste happening everywhere, slash the programs, the money is still floating around in the ether. Donald Trump proposing the idea that that money is going to go right back to your bank account. Take a listen.
And saving taxpayers billions and billions of dollars every single day. And there's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt and pay down debt, which is, if you look at value, if it were a real estate balance sheet, the debt is tiny, but we still want to pay it down. Doesn't matter. We don't look at it as a piece of real estate. It's America. We're going to get it down through intelligence.
All right, the Doge dividend, bring it on. You would have to be an absolute moron to vote against your own self-interest. Doge dividends, safer borders, safer communities. You're going to vote against this in the midterms? You're going to vote against this in 28? Again, next level stupid to get on display here. And the best part is, and I've said this a lot in different ways, but I'm very optimistic for the 2028 election. After 4 years of Trump winning, again, who is not going to vote to continue on this path? And the only thing the media and these Dems have is, Donald Trump made a true statement about loose women throwing themselves at rich and powerful men. Like, that's it. That is it. Donald Trump, because he was rich and powerful and lived the life of every other rich and powerful dude and experienced what women will do when they see a rich and powerful dude. For that, they hate him, and they were able to twist stupid narratives. And then he's fascist, he's Hitler, he's Mussolini combined. Donald Trump isn't going to be here in 2028. He doesn't get to run anymore. Whatever people said, I think some guy, some moron in the Republican Party was like, let's change the Constitution so he can run for a third term. That's idiotic. That's not going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But when Vance picks up the mantle, I think Vance would be a great pick. What are they going to say about Vance? You've got a dude married to an immigrant wife. You've got a dude that's young, well-spoken. He's rocking the beard. He is well-spoken. Did I say that? Nothing that they can throw at Donald Trump is going to stick on Vance. They will have nothing. What other narrative are they going to have? Oh, he was always Hitler in the weeds as vice president. Wait till he's president, then he'll really be Hitler. Again, the only thing that's going to stop Vance or whoever runs as a Republican in 28 is just sheer stupidity from the American voter. But 24 was a referendum on the media, so they can't bank on that anymore. You think the media is going to get more honest in the next 4 years? People are going to start believing the media more? I guess stranger things have happened. I can't put my faith in half this country, but I like to think not. So I'm very optimistic. This just gets better and better. Fine, you don't want to vote Republican in the midterms or in the 28 election? Okay, I guess you're telling me you want open borders again, you want to pay higher taxes, you want more government corruption, you want more wars overseas, you want dudes getting off in the girls' locker room in front of young girls and young women. I guess so, fine, if that's your position, you defend that. You have to defend your immorality, your just evil, wicked ways. All right, and I love this too here. I got one more clip here, and then I do want to talk about Rand Paul. Rand Paul made a statement that went viral recently as well to talk about the women. People are on the fence about how they want to react to Rand Paul. I saw a lot of like Uber MAGA accounts on X kind of railing against him, calling him a coward. I have my own thoughts on that. But first, Donald Trump says he is going down to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there. I remember as a child, that's like one of the first things you learn about, gold in Fort Knox. You watch James Bond. You're like, oh, okay, Fort Knox, let's raid the gold. Is there gold there? Nobody knows. How is it that we know nothing about what is actually in Fort Knox? If you believe what other U.S. senators are saying, Mike Lee out of Utah was saying, I've tried to go to Fort Knox for years, and they always denied me. And he's looking around saying, well, I'm a U.S. senator with almost top security clearance, I would imagine. I get to sit on these private meetings, go to the SCIF. You're not going to let me go visit Fort Knox? So lots of questions about where is our gold? And again, this comes on the heels of London getting just cleared out, all of its vaults getting emptied out, and turns out they didn't have all the gold they promised. So where is the United States gold? Nobody knows. Maybe it's all there. Maybe it's not. But you ask yourself this. Do I trust the U.S. government when it tells me all the gold is there? Do you trust the U.S. government? I have zero trust in the U.S. government. Here's Trump talking about his next foray down to Tennessee.
Well, I think we're going to take in tremendous tariff money, number one. And number two, you take a look at Doge and you see what's happening. We're saving billions of dollars.
On Doge, do you know what they're looking at specifically at the Department of Defense right now?
Yeah, they're looking at everything.
And are they going to cut more national security?
We're going to go into Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there.
Are they going to
You know that? We're going to go into Fort Knox. Do you know about that?
Sir,
How is that bad, bump?
are they going to eliminate more national security positions, civilians there?
We'll see what happens. But one of the
All right, chalk that up to a Rumble studio. I don't know if you can read lips, but Donald Trump was saying, we're headed down there. We're going to Fort Knox. This should be a wild report. Can you imagine if Donald Trump and Elon Musk show up at Fort Knox, little camera, taking a picture saying, guys, it's empty. Then you got to ask the question, where's all the gold? If I could bet on this, I don't know if you can go to like Polymarket and bet on this. I would bet that there is not the same amount of gold as they told us there were. I know, I'm really going on a limb there, but that would be my guess. All right, last part of the show today, folks. Again, I got to cut this short. The throat is scratchy. I feel like I'm coughing every video clip here, but I'm so excited. Folks, every time I do an episode, I've done one of two episodes since Trump basically won the election. Life is great. America is great. The air is sweeter. The water is crisper. I'm feeling a little lighter when I walk around. Like there was a palpable feeling of just positive difference, let's say, when Trump was inaugurated. America felt like a different country again, a free country again, a nation headed down the right path. So I've done a lot of episodes about that, winning. And when CBS releases a poll that says 70% of respondents are like, give it up to Trump, he's doing what he said he would. And again, they're couching that. They had to couch the language there. Not everyone supports what he's doing because a third of this country is irredeemably stupid. But things are on the right path for sure. So I want to get to a Rand Paul clip. Rand Paul did not endorse Donald Trump. He did because the alternative was Kamala Harris. Like that's where all these guys landed. Rand Paul and Thomas Massie are interesting characters. They're very libertarian. They hate all forms of government. I hate all forms of government. I hate that government exists, except there's an unenthusiastic acknowledgement that you have to have something. Because without any form of government, there would be a ruling by mobs and hordes and a tyrannical majority. So you have to have something in place to protect yourself from not being civilized anymore. I get that. Rand Paul then, so he's like, look, I got Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. I'm not a moron. I have to support Donald Trump. But Rand Paul and Trump also have a little bit of a history. Trump is not very kind to folks. He went after little Marco Rubio, but now Rubio is Secretary of State. So I think Donald Trump forgives and forgets. I think Donald Trump just wanted the best people in place. Rand Paul is chairing committees now, so he's doing all right. But he wrote this on X. And I'll get to some of the comments too. So we talk about Trump winning. Even someone like Rand Paul, I haven't seen Thomas Massie come out yet. Massie endorsed Donald Trump. Then he wouldn't vote for Mike Johnson as Speaker because Johnson is just a spineless sellout coward. And again, no disagreement on Massie there. I looked at it from a pragmatic point of view. I said, it's got to be somebody we don't like. You honestly think 220 elected Republicans are going to choose someone that's actually going to put America first? Like, get out of here. Speaking of that, what has Mike Johnson done since he was Speaker? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen it. The right people are maybe chairing committees, but I've seen some interesting characters to make me think otherwise. So I don't think Mike Johnson's done anything, but I always said he just can't get in the way. I don't care who the Speaker is. I just want them to get out of the way and not sell us downriver anymore like they've always done. Paul Ryan, Johnson when Biden was president. So I had my critiques of Massie. I understood where he's coming from. Yeah, Mike Johnson's not a perfect pick, but who was the alternative? Who was the alternative that was going to do any better? So I disagreed with him on that front. It's good to have principles. It's also good to be pragmatic. So Rand Paul, going back to the Rand Paul tweet, post, a few people may have noticed that I resisted an enthusiastic endorsement of Donald Trump during the election. Yeah, a few people. I remember saying, like, Rand, what are you doing? It's Trump or bust. Honestly, if you don't vote for Donald Trump in November, you are throwing this country away forever. That was as pretty obvious. That was as obvious as it gets. If you can't decide between Trump and Kamala Harris, no words. But Rand Paul resisted because of my principles. Here he continues, though. But now, I'm amazed by the Trump cabinet, many of whom I would have picked. I love his message to the Ukrainian warmongers, and along with his Doge initiative, shows I was wrong to withhold my endorsement. So today, admittedly a little tardy, I give Donald Trump my enthusiastic endorsement. Too little, too late, some will say, but it is sincere. There's that. Don't expect this endorsement to be fawning. I still think tariffs are a terrible idea, but Dios mío, what courage, what tenacity. Go real Donald Trump. Before I get into the comments, a lot of the prominent MAGA voices out there, you get a lot of people on X that are just ride or die with Trump to their own detriment. I got to say, kudos to Rand Paul. Too little, too late. This put me in this camp. I don't care. I want more and more minds to be changed every day. This is my message. I don't care if you endorsed Donald Trump in 2012 or you're like Rand Paul and you finally enthusiastically endorsed him in February of 2025. I do not care. I care moving forward that we wake up more people every day so that there is no going back to what we experienced before. We can never go back to the GOP of old. We can never go back to the McCain nominations, the Romney nominations, the Jeb Bush, and they tried to coronate him. Can't go back to the Boehners or the Ryans. We need to go down the America First path forever if we want to save this country. That Rand Paul endorsed Donald Trump today, or when was this, yesterday? Great. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the MAGA tent. This tent is big enough for everybody. And he is proving my point. Go back on the American Tribune Live channel over on Rumble. I think I uploaded that one to Spotify. But I did a message shortly after inauguration that said, I do not want unity. I think I ranted for a straight half hour how I don't want to compromise any of my values, principles, my political victory with these communists, with these rhinos, with these cowards, with these sellouts. I don't want to compromise with them. You just lost. You've been destroying this country. For the first time ever, we have a chance to turn things around. I'm not compromising with you. Goodbye. Elections have consequences, as Obama once said. So that Rand Paul is now joining the team here. Sorry. These quotes are great. 30%. Yeah, I love that this 30% thing is taken off. Always ask yourself, who are the 30%? That's the lesson today. If you take anything away from the show, whenever you see a poll and it says, wow, 70% of Americans support Donald Trump, yes, feel good about that. But then ask yourself, who the hell are these 30%? How do they put pants on in the morning when they wake up? I think the MAGA tent is big enough for everyone. And if I got my way, 100% of Americans would be in the MAGA tent. That's my dream. That's my goal. It'll never happen. You'll always have 30%. But the MAGA tent has room for everyone. And on whatever day you choose to finally embrace our movement and join us, again, I'm not compromising with you. I'm not going to meet you halfway. Yeah, a little bit of communism sounds good. Now, how do you feel about sending taxpayer money overseas? No, I want all of it. You get to come to us. I am not reaching out a hand to pull you in. I am in the tent. And when you enter the tent, I will give you a hug and welcome aboard. Rand Paul is now in the MAGA tent. He is looking at what Trump 2.0 is doing alongside Elon Musk with hopefully a little Ron Paul action and Doge. He's looking at all the nominations. We knew Trump would deliver this. He campaigned on it, and now he's delivering. And Rand Paul woke up and said, you know what? I was wrong. And I want every American to wake up and say, I was wrong. I'm tired of saying, you're welcome. I saved you from yourself by voting for Donald Trump. You were voting against your own self-interest and demise. You're welcome. I and 78 million other Americans voted to save you. We saved you from yourself. I don't want to say you're welcome anymore. I just want to be like, awesome, man, you voted for Trump too? Right on. Come into the tent with me. So that's my goal. I don't have a dog in this fight other than getting as many people in the America First movement as possible. So I'm going to just call a few people out here that I disagree with. So Brendan Dilley, he's a funny guy on X, but he says, eat S. I don't even know if I can say that. Imagine Kamala had won because baby soft McConnell stooges like you sat on the sidelines. Johnny Maga says, I'm endorsing Trump 4 months after the election because he's doing everything he promised he'd do during the campaign. Vince Langman said, I noticed and pointed out many times. In other words, I still don't trust you. Nick Sorter, you are at least 100 times better than your colleague Mitch McConnell. There's that. Ian Yeager comes out and says, thank you, Senator Paul. No more funding to Ukraine. Here we got here. Roger Stone says, too late, of no value whatsoever today. They should toss your ass out of the Republican Senate caucus. You dishonor your own father. Did Ron Paul endorse Donald Trump? I'm reading these comments in real time here. I don't think Ron Paul endorsed Trump, did he? All right, folks, we got to take a time out. I know Trump had said, I want you in my cabinet here. Tough to say. The comments, headlines aren't coming up right away. I won't waste your time in a live show. So there it is. A lot of these always MAGA voices. And look, I would love an always MAGA country. I am not deriding them necessarily, but I am pointing out that there are two camps now in this. Are you like grandfathered in? Are you not allowed to come later? I guess those would be my questions for folks. Like, I want everyone to vote MAGA. I want everyone to vote America First. If you didn't vote in 2020 or 2024, you can still vote for the America First movement in the midterms or the next presidential election. Like, I want that. I want more votes every single election. And we don't get those if we say, oh, too little, too late. Where were you in 2024 and gatekeep the America First movement? No, the America First movement is big enough for everybody. Rand Paul, welcome aboard. Yeah, it would have been disastrous if you were sitting on the sidelines gave us Kamala Harris, but it didn't, because honestly, people don't care about your endorsements anymore either. Like, had Rand Paul endorsed Donald Trump, was anyone else going to vote for him? I don't know. Now, Dave Smith, he had a lot of influence with the libertarian movement. I think people voted for Donald Trump because of what Dave Smith said. But Rand Paul, I don't know. If you're going to vote or not vote for a president because some other politician said do it or don't do it, you're kind of proving the point that not everyone should be allowed to self-govern, and certainly voting should be harder. If you literally won't cast a vote until an elected U.S. senator says, okay, guys, green light, no, then voting needs to be a lot harder. What else do you want me to say? So I say, welcome aboard, Rand Paul. Bring it on, folks. No unity with the communists. Let them come to us. I really encourage you to check out that old podcast. I think that's my most viewed clip that I've ever done on this channel. But I don't want unity. That's the name of the show on the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. Check it out. I want to get to the chats here. I don't think this is... We got Donna Higdon saying, this is a lie. Stop it before it's too late. The world is preparing for war against us, and the people hate Trump, at least the true patriots. Yeah, they do. They hate you. They hate the truth. They hate that you have freedom. They hate that you have free will. It's nasty stuff out there. Donna hits the nail on the head. And I got to say, folks, we are up to 10 YouTube viewers. I've got 3 different viewers commenting on the Rumble Studio. What can I say? You have made my day. I don't know, folks. There's a lot of shows out there. I always give the soul spiel too, and then I want to get back to the comments. But you have so many options out there when you choose to consume content, whether you just want to get analysis, commentary, you want to try to get a little news in your day. I mean, I'm rambling on here for 45 minutes. You have chosen to watch my show and then comment on the show, but you have so many choices out there. So I appreciate you tuning into the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson as we talk about Trump winning bigly in these CBS polls. Woke CBS even having to admit that 70% of Americans are supportive of what Trump is doing. He's fulfilling his campaign promises. But thanks for tuning into the show. I do mean that sincerely. I would scream and shout at this camera if it was turned off. I am that passionate about certain topics. But I like to get my there, build a little community, help you realize you're not alone. Hey, we're up to 13 on YouTube all of a sudden. I think I'm just going to say thank you over and over again for the rest of the show as that number keeps going up. YouTube likes the positive. What can I say? But you tuned into the show, so I appreciate you doing that. Again, you have so many options out there. We are a live show. I just got to make this plug every Tuesday and Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Central. I went live today at 9:20. I might like that actually because it just gets ahead. A lot of people go off at 9 and 9:30, so we'll hit maybe that sweet spot of 9:20 depending on the workflow over here at the American Tribune. But again, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Morcaden. We got Edgar Pinero over here. I'm trying to get your comment popped up. Fishy, over 30% of registered voters are Democrats. I mean, yeah, to be a registered Democrat, man, I don't even know what to say about that. You're a registered Democrat. I'm going to conclude the show with this. Those are all my video clips. I just wanted to commend Rand Paul. I think I'm taking the contrarian point of view. I think it's the right point of view. Like, if you had someone say, look, I voted for Kamala Harris in November, I was wrong, friend. I'm sorry I called you a conspiracy theorist. I'm sorry I called you a fascist. I promise in 2028 to vote for the America First presidential candidate. What are you going to do? Turn them away? Say, sorry, pal, F off. Time expired. I don't want you. Like, no, you wouldn't say that. You would say, buddy, that is awesome. Apology accepted. Let's be MAGA friends together in this massive MAGA tent that can fit everybody. Now go talk to your sister-in-law too, because she's insane and woke and we need to wake her up. Like, that's the only response to this. You're going to turn people away because they came to the party a little bit later? Get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, but Edgar, thanks for the comment. Thanks for watching. I think we have all YouTube comments today. Missing some of our Rumble friends, but that is all right. All right, folks, and with that being said, I think we got to wrap things up today. It's been a wild ride. I feel very over-caffeinated, but it's been a great show. I want to thank you once again for joining us as we talk about Trump winning across the country. Even CBS, even all these news outlets, they can't hide that anymore. Americans love what they're seeing. They love seeing a secure border. They love seeing violent illegals getting sent home. Why is this controversial? I'm going to end with this. The next time a Democrat comes up to you, if your Democrat family members, friends, neighbors even talk politics with you at this point, mine don't. I think it's a combination of they don't know how to have these conversations. They feel morally superior to you, so why waste your time with some Trump MAGA peon? Or they just get frazzled and emotional. I was told by my sister-in-law, I can't talk politics with you because I can't separate the way I feel about Donald Trump and you. And she proceeded to say Trump's a racist and a sexist and a bigot and all that. And she can't separate her feelings. So, in other words, she called me a racist and a sexist and a bigot. But I don't want to talk politics. I don't want to damage the relationship. It's like, what the hell? You don't get to call me all those names and then not talk about it. But just ask them this. If they do come up to you and they say, Todd, what are your thoughts on the election so far? And I would say, what are your thoughts? Are you happy that we have a secure border? Are you happy that we have less drugs coming across the border? Are you happy that we have less children and women getting trafficked across the border? Are you happy that your tax dollars will stop going to Ukraine after 3 years? And what do you know about Ukraine, by the way? Why do you support Ukraine? Are you happy that we're rooting out corruption in the government? All of the massive fraud and waste that's taking place, hundreds of billions of dollars getting siphoned off to somewhere, your tax dollars. Are you happy going to work every day? And for the last 2 hours of that workday, you're just writing a check to the government every single day. You're happy with all of this? Yeah. How do I feel about Trump? How do you feel about this? And if you don't say I support this too, like I said, you are a morally and intellectually defective human being at this point. No other way around it. Separate your emotions about Donald Trump, which are all created by the media and the political class, by the way. If you didn't have the media shrieking for 10 years about Donald Trump's character, you would love what was happening automatically. But they primed you to hate all this. Okay, hate Donald Trump. And so then whatever Donald Trump does, you're going to hate that too because, my feelings. So if you look at this honestly and you say, yes, this is actually what I wanted. I wish Joe Biden would have closed the border. I wish he wouldn't have allowed 300,000 kids to go missing over his 4 years. I wish he wouldn't have allowed 10 million illegals to come into the country. I wish we would have deported these violent drug dealing, human trafficking thugs, these subhuman animals. I wish we would have made peace in Ukraine and Russia 3 years ago. We're going to have the exact same resolution that we could have had 3 years ago. I wish a lot of this would have happened, but Joe Biden didn't do it because, again, he hates all of you. The regime hates you. The ruling class hates you. So, yeah, how do I feel about Donald Trump? You defend not liking what Donald Trump did. That is my message for you all today. But again, thanks for tuning in. You got so many options out there to consume media. That you join me today means a lot. And I will be back next Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. Central, over here on Rumble at the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. And again, if you're watching this later on the American Tribune channel, our main Rumble channel, head over to the other one. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Be sure to tune in live Tuesdays and Thursdays. Love the comments here. And I am signing off with 10 YouTube viewers. You guys have made my day. Oh, folks, I can't go yet. We got the comment section blown up here. All right, I lied. I'm not going anywhere. I want to give a shout out to all these people. Crowfields writes, great job explaining what's happening. Thanks. I enjoyed your show. Crow, thank you for watching the show today. I appreciate it. Thanks for your comment. Donna's back. Oh, I think we had Donna's comment before. Yeah, we got Crowfields in there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Alyssa is over on YouTube. You are putting this garbage out and think you're a patriot? What Trump just said about Ukraine should be enough. Sorry I stumbled upon this idiotic podcast. Well, I think we found some of our 30% there. I don't know if Alyssa's going to comment and bounce. Usually these trolls do. I guess, again, you don't have to defend your positions. Folks, if you're watching the show, more likely than not, you look at what Donald Trump's administration is doing, you're like, thank goodness someone is finally doing this. So the onus is on you, Alyssa. The onus is on you if you're still watching. Let me know in the comments below. Do you defend endless wars overseas? Do you defend open borders? Do you defend drug and human trafficking? Do you defend letting grown men expose themselves to young girls in locker rooms and bathrooms? Do you defend boys stealing spots from women if they simply claim they're a girl? Do you defend letting violent criminals out on the streets, no cash bail, no punishment, no prison? You got to be nice because they had trauma as a kid. Do you support all that? That's on you, Alyssa. I do not. That's why I support Donald Trump. That's why I stand by my comments. You have to defend all of that, Alyssa. All right, Will writes, you're doing a great job, buddy. You are spot on regarding Trump and Vance. I support them 100%. Will, right there, buddy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Here's a weird stat that is actually true. The Federal Bureau of Prison reports that 15% of all inmates in federal women's prisons are biological men. Go figure. I'm going to have to do some research. Will, tune in next Tuesday. I'm going to dig into the stat. I'll get back to you on that one. That is a crazy stat. Yeah, tune in 9:30 a.m. Central over on YouTube. Or, hey, if you're on YouTube, folks, let me make a plug. Head over to Rumble right now, the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. I guess at this point I would believe anything. Why wouldn't that be true? Honestly, if I were a dude, I would say that too. Why wouldn't you want to go to a women's prison if you could get away with it? So I guess there's that. And then we got Mike over on YouTube as well. Man, YouTube is just blowing up. Ah, yes, the same company being sued by the FCC under Trump. Shoot, look at CNN even obeying. We are in for dark times for a man we thought could trust per usual. Is this a Trump? Is this another anti-Trump comment? Like, okay, I'm not defending my position. You defend your position. Did Joe Biden do better than this? Like, you're going to get mad at Donald Trump and then ignore what Mike, I could be reading your comment wrong. I think this is an anti-Trump comment. I could just be reading it fast as I'm trying to sign off here. But yeah, anyone that gets mad at Donald Trump for doing anything, just be like, Joe Biden did it 10 times worse. And you're mad at Trump? Like, go check yourself, buddy. All right, with that being said, folks, man, the comments just flew in at the end. I had to acknowledge everybody. Wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. One more time, I love my YouTube audience. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Head over to Rumble, though. Go to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson channel. It'll populate. It's probably the longest headline, longest program name over on Rumble, but it will auto-populate after a while. But we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to get back to Will's question about all of the biological men in prison. With that being said, folks, I am out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make